AirPods, shall we? Better sound quality. And coming from Seattle, people were like, "Oh my gosh, you've never seen a country so green." I was like, "Okay, whatever." But it's true. It's bizarre and beautiful all at the same time. Grass that looks like carpet because it's very damp in Ireland. Um, but that's where my people hail from, way back in the day. I've done a little ancestry DNA kind of .com searching, and most of my lineage traces back to Ireland. Now, gets a little dicey when you get back to the 1700s, definitely. But I've traced it back to at least the 1800s for sure. And at least one of my ancestors, you know how they say, well-behaved people don't make history. It's so true. I, one of my ancestors, he was about 19. This is on my grandmother's side, on her grandmother's side, I do believe. But this fella, John Maher, he was arrested when he was about 19 and thrown in prison for the charge disorderly with like four or five other guys. And it really kind of sounds like maybe there was like a pub crawl that, there were shenanigans involved. But a year later, he is on a ship going to Boston where he met the woman he married. And eventually they ended up in Rhode Island. So I love it. I love to hear all the history and find all that stuff out. And we're going to make a cocktail that goes back about 100 years to a book in 1916 that came out called Recipe for Mixed Drinks. This recipe that we're going to use was adapted from that one because the original recipe calls for equal parts Bushmills whiskey, an Irish whiskey, a Italian vermouth. We're actually going to use a French sweet vermouth, and then a chartreuse. It didn't distinguish between the green or the yellow. We're going to use green. Yellow might be a little softer on the palate. This is very herbaceous, if you will. And of course, sweet the rouge vermouth, the red vermouth, is what we're going to go with. 130 different spices and herbs, and it'll taste like it, I'm sure. And the fermented fortified wine, I guess I should say, is the vermouth. And the whiskey is just going to grow a little hair on your chest. So here we go. We're actually going to mix this in a mixing glass. We're not going to shake it up. So you need a mixing glass. You need a little bar spoon. I've got my jigger. I've got a peel for a little orange essence, which the original recipe did not call for, but you can leave it down there. You don't have to. And I'm going to mix it into a glass or pour it into a glass. I did not get my strainer. Let me get a strainer out of here, mini strainer. Because come on, they were not drinking this drink out of a fancy coupe glass. Give me a break. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna use an ounce and a half of Jameson. My dad would be proud. In fact, he asked me, he's like, "You're using Irish whiskey, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yes, Dad. I promise. Same stuff you used to make special medicine for us in." Okay, so an ounce and a half of Irish whiskey. Then we're going to use 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. I've never had this drink, and this sounds like a drink, if you know what I'm saying. Very strong. Let's see, just 1 ounce of this. Woo! And a half ounce of the chartreuse. Chartreuse is not inexpensive, so if you have one or the other, just go with that. We won't bat an eye. Okay, just a half ounce of this. I'm going to mix it in the glass. And I am going to put it over a rock, if you will. I don't know if one will fit in there, so we might have to adapt. In fact, let me get a little picky pick. That's not really a pick, but it'll do. We'll figure out. Oh, Lord. Okay, so let's give that a good stir. Probably a good, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds. And again, this might just put hair on my chest. Ew. But it does smell like a serious cocktail. And oh, we got to put a couple of dashes of bitters in there. Let me do that. Forgot about that. I'm going to use orange bitters because, again, I think it'll be nice. So if you ever have the chance, go to Ireland. I came back from there going, God, everybody has like a great personality. And yes, I kissed the Blarney Stone, giving me the gift of gab. Didn't really need to, but what are you gonna do? Okay, so forgot my proper strainer, but that's fine. Okay, so we don't want to dilute this too much. So we're just gonna put this over it. Hold back any of the ice cubes. Nope, that didn't work. That didn't work either. Okay, hold on. I mean, come on. Let's try to do this right. I don't want those ugly ice cubes in there. I have to get out my. Oy. Okay. Whoop. Bottoms up. Okay, let me get those out of there. How is the big question. Let's see. I think I've got some grabbers. And they're green. Okay. We don't want to ruin the beverage, for crying out loud. And of course I had what is it? This is so dangerous. Of course it is, but what are you gonna do? It wasn't a knife. Okay, so I just needed it to fit in the glass. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna peel off some of this orange and express some of the oils over it. Let them, express themselves. Put the skin side out, squeeze it, and I promise you, something magic happens. Just gonna rim the glass like that. And, if I'd had this out a little bit longer, I probably could have made it a little prettier, but voila. Now let's try this cocktail. And this will be the only one of these I think that I have because I have to go pick a friend up at the airport. And again, this is a serious. Oh, I forgot to even tell you the name of it. It's called Tipperary. Okay, this is a Tipperary. Hi there, Jim. Happy St. Pat's Day. Thank you for not calling it Patty. It is Paddy because it comes from the Gaelic name Padrig. And so there you go. Hi, Renee. Cheers with a nice cold Corona. Outstanding. There you go. Yes. And cheers to you, JD. Appreciate you guys showing up. So let's try the Tipperary, which is a town in, oh, I forget which county. Meath, maybe? In Ireland. It's in southwest Ireland, about 100 miles southwest of Dublin. Here you go. Cheers. Or as we say in Ireland, Slainte to health. That's nice. It is nice. It's kind of like a little after dinner drink, a nice little wind down cocktail. Mhm. I think the orange and the sweet vermouth give it just enough sweetness that you don't need like sugar or anything additive like that. That is nice. I wonder if you even ordered one in a bar, if anybody would know what you're talking about. But a Tipperary, again, you use an ounce and a half of Irish whiskey, Bushmills, Jameson. You're going to want to use 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. It's not expensive. This is not expensive. But the most expensive thing is the chartreuse. That's why they'll charge you a bundle for. I don't even want to tell you how much this bottle cost me, but it's not in a ton of drinks. So the Tipperary, ounce and a half of Irish whiskey, 1 ounce of your sweet vermouth, and a half ounce of the chartreuse. Again, the original recipe, if you really want to go for it, equal parts of those three, and didn't include a couple of dashes of your orange Angostura bitters, but I like it. I do. Cheers to that. Cheers to you. And happy St. Pat's Day to one and all. Thank you for watching, guys. And Aaron Go Bra or Pug Mahone. If you know, you know. Cheers.